What's going on, guys? Kevin here to bring you a brand new video where today I wanted to talk about an adventure that I had alone, that I didn't share with anybody but myself. But it was an experience where many things unfolded, and I feel like to try to tell somebody everything at once would be a lot. So I just thought this would make a cool story to kind of tell about this experience I had while I was on vacation. So normally every year I go down to the Cape. There was actually videos of me going to the Cape, years ago when I vlogged it. um, but yeah, I go to the Cape every year. So I went this year. I had gone in my own car. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to this place on my own, check it out. And the place I decided to go was Provincetown in Cape Cod. Um, so I took the drive all the way out there. Um, it was from Hyannis, even from Hyannis, Cape Cod, it took me an hour to get to Provincetown. So that gives you an idea of how far away it is. So I drive there. It's kind of like five, so it's kind of getting close to sundown, but not that close, but kind of close to where if I want to do anything outside, I should probably do it relatively soon. So I drive down there. For some reason, the road is a one lane road, which I really don't get. Um, why you would make it a one lane highway going both ways. And yet, once you get off the highway and actually get onto this main route that keeps going to Provincetown, it turns into a two-lane road. So why would you have a one-lane highway that turns into a two-lane road? That just does not make any sense. But anyways, after I get off the one-lane highway, I get onto this two-lane road that's very narrow and scary, a little bit scary to drive in. But nonetheless, it was fine. It was just very dense as far as cars going past each other. All you have is the double yellow lines, and you have two lanes of cars on each side, and cars going 60 miles an hour past each other. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot at times for sure. So I go up there, and it gets to be a little later, and I'm thirsty. I want to get something to drink to help me last through this trip, and I also have to use the bathroom. So I stop at this gas station. Um, I think it was a Shell. I want to say it was a Shell, yeah. And I get a lemonade, a brisk lemonade to drink. Very nice. And also, I get some money from the ATM in case I need to pay to park. Because some places do make you pay to park. And they probably let you use card if you wanted to, but I figured I should just have some cash on hand, just in case. But the thing they didn't allow me to do was use the bathroom, and you could easily tell that because on the door that to enter the convenience store there was a sign that said no restroom. So I was like, well, that sucks. So I continued driving, full of piss and needing to go still, to Provincetown. And as I get up there, I enter Provincetown, and there's this line of houses that kind of reminded me of that episode from SpongeBob where all the houses look the same, or the movie Vivarium where all the houses look the same. All these houses were identical, exactly identical, and they were all right next to the water. As I was going across this little tiny strip of land, it was basically the road was here, the road was here, and then there was a small side road, and then there was all these houses that were all the same, and then the water was there. So, and that was it. Really nice, really open, but just a little weird that fact that all the houses were the same. Maybe because of vivarium and things like that. Um, but nonetheless, really nice area so far. Pretty open, pretty nice compared to a lot of the rest of the Cape on the highway, which is just, woods basically. And the 2 lane roads do have some nice stuff. There looked like some nice restaurants and nice things to do, like mini golf and arcades and all sorts of places to go. Definitely looked like some nice areas there. Also, nonetheless, I get to Provincetown, and you do have the option to take a left, which would take you to more like the city area, where it's like more like downtown Provincetown. And I decide, and I make the choice. I say, no, I don't really want to do anything like that. I kind of just want to like check out some scenery and go on a walk, and explore the area, take a nice little peaceful walk. I wasn't aiming to like party or like, hit the club or get drunk or anything like that, really. No. So my original plan was to actually go to this place called Provincetown Causeway, which is like a giant walkway that goes to this island, this tiny little island, on the very, very edge of Provincetown. It's like this. It's not even like a road. It's like a bunch of rocks that go out to this island that you would just walk on, and then you go across to that island, and then there would be like a lighthouse there, and you could like walk on the path and just check everything out, and like take in all the views and see all the different sights, and yeah, it'd be good. But sadly, that plan was foiled because of the fact that I could not find anywhere to park at all. So I get to this place where Provincetown Causeway was, and there's like a bunch of like cars parked on the side of the road where you actually could park, but there was no open spots. And then I get to this rotary where the only thing there is the Provincetown Inn, which, in order to park there, you have to be a patron of the inn. And as I realize that, I enter the parking lot of the inn. So I'm like, well, fuck, now I have to turn around. So I turn around, leave the inn parking lot. I see another like rotary exit that I can't even take because it's a one way. So the only thing I can do is go back the other way. So at this point in my head, I'm just like, I need to just find a place to park and I just want to park somewhere, anywhere, and just walk around. That's all I want to do at this point. And like, for a while, that seemed like I was asking a lot, because for a while it was just like road and no parking signs, and that was it. There was a beach that was clearly in sight, but there was no foreseeable way to get inside said beach or to park in it, possibly because it was 6 o'clock at night. I don't know, but maybe I missed it, but from what I could see, there was no foreseeable way to get into this beach. I think it was called Heretic Cove Beach. There's no way to get into that beach, which sucked. So I kept driving. A little bit more. I saw like some bike trails and different stuff until finally, I saw a turn that I could take. This entrance to a trail, a hiking trail. I'm like, okay, well, I could do that. That actually sounds like it would be good. A good compromise from my previous plan. So I park there. There's only one other car there, so I'm like, I hope I can park here. There was one other car there, so I'm like, I think I can park here. and it said area closed midnight to 6 a.m. And obviously it was 6 p.m. So I'm in the clear. Um, I get out of my car at like 6:45, and keeping in mind that earlier in the day I looked up what the time for sunset was, and the time for sunset was 8:10. So at this point, I had an hour and 30 minutes to walk around and just like take a little nature walk and check things out. So I get out, still needing to piss, not having a restroom, walk around for a little bit, and this is something that a lot of people like would not have an issue with whatsoever and would just do it like no questions asked. But for me, it felt a little abnormal. I decided to just let it out, like piss in public, because like literally I had to piss so bad. So I just did it right there. And like the only thing that feels weird is like the fact that there was nobody there, so it was fine. But I was like afraid that like somebody would be there like all of a sudden. So I was like, oh my god, like just go as fast as possible, even though like you can't really control like how fast you go. You kind of just have to like wait until you're done. So yeah, I tried to like I found like a secluded area and like just did it. And it's also not like the most like sanitary thing, but it is what it is. So yeah, I finished that and I continue onward. I check out this trail. I use my map to make sure I'm going the right way, to make sure I'm on the trail. I check out all this nice scenery. There's lots of open area, tons of different views and like different shots that I was able to take with my camera of like views of like the open grassland and the water, and like there was a lighthouse that I saw in the distance, and I was like, I'm gonna make it to that. It was like pretty far away, but I was like, I'm gonna make it to that. And just to clarify, the lighthouse that I did get to was not the same lighthouse that I was originally going to see. The lighthouse I was going to see was Long Point Lighthouse, off of Provincetown Causeway, but the one I ended up seeing was Race Point Lighthouse, off of the trail that I hiked. I did, I did end up getting to that lighthouse, but getting there was a journey. I make my way along, and the trail, the regular like trail, actual trail that you see on the map, like ended. So I kind of just had to like figure out where to go to get to that place. But I mean, like, it was like relatively like open area, so it wasn't like anything was really like off limits to go to. So long as that you didn't go in the water, obviously, which was even the water was like pretty easy to avoid, like because the tide wasn't that high yet. It was pretty easy to go around it. The only thing that you really just had to like try to avoid was like bushes, like really tall bushes. Like I didn't want to have to like walk through those. Like that just didn't make me feel comfortable. So eventually I do find like a nice like sand path that lets me like go up and actually like go through to like more of like a bigger sand road that leads to the lighthouse. And yeah, I do end up making it to the lighthouse on that nice sand path. And after that, I found a beach that looked to be closed off, or at least it looked like it. It had like a sign that said like national advisory, like this beach is closed off. I mean, like nobody was there, so like I just like stepped forward a little bit and like just like took a peek out, like just to see like is anybody there, like what's going on. And this is where like the weird paranoia kicks in. Is that I see like a boat in the distance, moving, and I'm like, oh god, it's a person. They see me. And it's not like I hadn't seen people earlier. Like I saw a couple people walking earlier when I was like on my way to the lighthouse. But something about seeing the boat, I guess, just like wigged me out. I thought the boat saw me and was coming after me for some reason, and I could like hear it in the distance as I was like running away. Um, I don't know why I got like paranoid there. That's so weird, but like I just like had this like um, theory that like the person in that boat was like coming to the shore to find me. like like what the heck. So I don't know. I started running like really fast until I like tired myself out, and then I had to stop running. And then since it was also getting dark, to be fair, so I did have to kind of like make my way back, not too slowly. Um, so I take a look a little bit more around, and I kind of get lost actually. Even though I did have my map, I couldn't find the specific path that led me back to the trail. So I had to kind of just like will myself through some of the bushes. They weren't really like bushes, it was more like, I guess, like tall grass. So I kind of like willed myself through some of that and just like finally made my way back to the normal sand path. And just as like the tide was like starting to come over, and yeah, I made it back fine. I ended up walking back, and as I said earlier, the sunset time was set to be at 8:10, and I got back to my car at 8:07. So it worked out in that regard, so it wasn't too bad. And then I was like, all right, time to go home. But then I was like, just kidding, not time to go home. I saw something else I wanted to check out. Was there was a beach called Race Point Beach that I wanted to check out, and it was pretty public. I mean, there was a good amount of people there, just chilling out, having some fun. It looked like a relatively nice beach. I mean, there wasn't a snack bar. They did have a bathroom, which I did use, which was nice, and yeah, it was a nice area. I met like a random couple, and I actually encountered a fox for the first time. It was a really small fox, and it was very scared. Luckily, I was actually like standing really still, afraid it might like come after me, but it just like ran off, all like scared like. So that's all good. Um, but yeah, after that, at this point, it was almost 9 o'clock, and it had gotten pretty dark. Um, or it wasn't like completely dark, but it had gotten like fairly dark to the point where I'm like, all right, I mean, like, what else am I gonna do? It's really starting to get dark. I should just head home. So I get back in my car, begin to head on my way home, and I say, what if I took this turn to go back to go to the city? That that turn that I didn't take earlier because I wasn't trying to like, party or do anything like that. But I was like, what if I just like took the turn and just like drove around? So that's what I did. I took that very turn on my way back, and I drove around for a little bit. And let me tell you, this driving experience was about as bad as driving in Boston. Very thickly settled road, lots of people, like very attentive driving required, like stressful, like, except like I guess there's not tall buildings, but like just like it's a very like lively area. At least that part of Provincetown. Like the part I spent the most time in was not as lively. It was just like a hiking area and beach. Nothing too crazy. I did also check out the airport there, which is really, really tiny. Supposedly they just do flights to Boston. Really small airport. I think it's just like one airstrip, There's like one tiny building, and that's it. So yeah, um, I could actually see it in the distance from the trail that I hiked on as well. I could see like the landing gear lights, um, the landing lights from a distance. Um, so yeah. Anyways, the city. I drove around it for a little bit, and I said, "Yeah, this place is very active. I can see." And then I said, "Yep, that's what this is like. This is Provincetown," and said, "Okay, time to go home." So yeah, I drove home. Had a 3 hour drive home. But yeah, it was quite the experience, and I don't regret it at all. I'm really glad I could have a nice, peaceful hike. That's what I enjoyed most out of all of this, obviously, is the hike. Just being able to do that walk, but all the other shenanigans that came with it, I thought would be really interesting to talk about. But yeah, that was my experience in Provincetown. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Um, Please be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.